Hello Ds, and welcome back to the channel Benidorm by Anna. Today we have a video about mobility scooters because yes, the issues are back and it's even worse than ever. The worst part comes when it's a market day. 2 times a week on Wednesdays and Sundays, the area around the market in Rincon Village is absolutely packed with different mobility scooters, 4-wheeled ones, 3-wheeled ones, 1, 2 seats, single ones, light ones, really giant ones, colorful ones of different types of brands and companies and names. These mobility scooters are here. It is so many of them that is bizarre. And it's not even the worst part. The one that is right there in front of us is actually the reality of how busy it is, because people are even parking here on a pedestrian area, leaving their scooters, heading to the market towards the nearby places. Obviously, they're not kind of making trouble to anyone, but still, a lot of the times it is difficult to pass. Just look at this. This is an improvised parking space for mobility scooters. This is insane. This is the worst we've seen it. It's an actual parking for mobility scooters. Front line, right in front of the market. There you go. Different brands, colors, types, whatever you want is right here. Nearby, we also have some rental places like Amigo 24 for mobility scooters, which are great for a lot of people, and many people are actually entitled to use these, but this is not always the case. Even still, by now, even if by law it is forbidden, we see a huge amount of people who should not be using the mobility scooters, and for some reason they do use them. And younger generations, people who don't have any visible issues, who are really young and can walk. We can see them stand up and walk perfectly fine, but they just don't want to. And these mobility scooters, we see them flying by on different promenades, and this is when accidents actually happen. There's so many of them here, it is bizarre. Probably, I don't know, you can count how many there are here, but there is a lot, definitely. And this is not summer just yet. In summer, it will not be possible to pass through this area. That is absolutely bizarre. By the way, in 2024, as per the latest accident statistics in this area, Benidorm local police reported 15 traffic accidents involving electric mobility scooters. As you can see here from our past footage, scooters are everywhere. People are passing by. People are blocking the passing by area. If you have a buggy with a child, sometimes it's difficult to pass. And obviously, all these places rent out these scooters for people who need it for mobility. But others are just getting it for their wants and needs, those who are not supposed to use them, and just for fun, which is the worst part of it. These mobility scooters, there are several companies who rent these out. Here you can see some of the prices. There's Amigo 24. There's Amigo 24 with different, it's the most popular, it's the oldest company in Benidorm that offers these. Then we have several more companies, including the Butterfields, that is right here on the Mediterranean Avenue. This is also a place that sells mobility scooters and also rents these out, repairs them. And you also have other mobility things to help you out. Some people asked us if they have these like wheeled walking devices to help you out. Yes, they also do, and they can rent these out, and you can also purchase these in case you will spend here a long time. And in general, Benidorm's local police has recorded at least around 20 to 25 traffic accidents involving electric mobility scooters in 2024. But these were accidents that were slightly severe, where the police had to intervene, which is not usually the case. Usually there's hundreds and hundreds of these cases, at least several a day. So it would be at least 1,000 a year. Easily. What a number. On the market day, there's at least 100 or more scooters in this particular part of Benidorm town. And we've seen quite a few very unpleasant incidents here when scooters basically were hitting against other scooters, or even against people, which in this case, basically you run people's feet over with the wheel of the mobility scooter, which is unpleasant and is quite traumatic too. So we've seen a lot of different things like these, but obviously with the increase of tourism, I do feel like the amount of mobility scooters are increasing too. But the thing is that not all people actually need them who are using them right now. And apart from that, these cases usually are, for example, someone is walking past you and is hitting you with the mobility vehicle, or just passes above your leg, like crushing your leg or fingers. These ones are the most common ones, or pushing someone with it, or just going backwards instead of forwards. Here you can see different prices that these scooters have, from 20 euros a day, 20-25. If you rent it out for a long term, it's around 10 euros. And obviously it's great if you actually have mobility issues, but if it's not the case, then people should not be taking them because it's risky. These vehicles have been a growing safety concern due to their widespread use and the increasing number of related accidents. Hotels have full parking lots, especially for these scooters, which can actually show how popular these are. One notable case, by the way, occurred in August 2024 when an 83-year-old man, I think, was seriously injured after his mobility scooter plunged 5 meters down a ravine in Benidorm. Emergency services had to intervene and the victim was transferred to Marina Baixa Hospital here in Villajoyosa. This was the most severe one. The other ones are just related, like people are going down the beach, like right now in the promenade. The mobility scooter just flies by and kicks someone, especially when it's busy, or where you do not know how to use it correctly. Still, you might press and think it's going to forward, but it's going back, and you might hit someone. Mostly the feet. Okay, that's the worst part of it, or just hit someone in the back. This is mostly what is happening with these types of mobility scooters, especially with the bicycles on bicycle trails, electric scooters, sometimes with cars if they cross where they should not be crossing. These are the biggest issues with these scooters, and especially this is why police officers are here also checking out that everything is in a correct way. And many people are actually doing things the right way. Actually, many people are, but still there's people who are just willing to do things as they want to do it without thinking about consequences and the damage they can cause to the others. It is actually estimated that around 60% of British tourists, let me tell us in the comment section, better to say, if you think that is true, that 60% of the British tourists visiting Benidorm rent mobility scooters during their stay. 60%. Agree or disagree? We'll read you here in the comments. And a study by the tour operator on the beach revealed that 81% of British tourists believe that mobility scooters users are reckless a lot of the times and should have to pass a test to operate them. I'm not sure if it's a kind of like a driver's license for mobility scooters or something like this. But it's quite curious to see that people think the same way. Obviously, there's places where mobility scooters are way more like by the market. There's plenty of them. It's insane. On the beach promenades mostly, but here in the old town, depending on the time of the day, you might see quite a few electric mobility scooters. Some of them are parked, like the ones you see. Others are just passing along, but the wider the area is, the less trouble these are causing, because obviously you are able to pass along them and just not get hit and see where they are heading. But it is true that while it's still permitted that people that do not need them use them, we will still have some issues. Luckily to us, stag groups, hen parties already do not rent these out, which was the case at least a few years ago. It was insane, but now it's not the case any longer, so at least we've improved in something, right? In response, by the way, the local authorities of Benidorm have launched awareness campaigns to encourage responsible scooter use, to improve the road safety in the town. By now, obviously, towards the summer season, there is an increasing alert because of these scooters, because there are so many of them, But honestly, I would fear more for electric scooters than the actual mobility scooters themselves, because these ones are mostly used by older generations. They do not go that fast. Electric scooters are flying around you everywhere you go. So these have way more speed and are way more difficult to treat with. Let us know which one you see more dangerous, the mobility scooter or the electric scooters that many people still use here in Benidorm town as for the day of today. Thank you for accompanying us in today's video. We hope it was useful and informative for you guys. We'll see you in a new video here on the channel. Goodbye.